Was this one of the most creepy moments in the history of cable televised news?
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents. We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
And the amazing thing is that they admit it, and actually they brag about it. So you're going to hear specifically from the mouths of the very founders of modern schooling themselves. They will tell you what the aim and purpose for modern schooling is. Now, Ms. Harris Perry was not the first person to make this suggestion. Go back to the 90s. Hillary Rodham Clinton, First Lady in the White House. She writes a book called It Takes a Village. There's an occultist who practically moves into the White House, according to the reporting on this, as the editor of the book, leading Ms. Clinton in communication with the dead. That's a whole separate video, the occult practices of witchcraft in the White House. Subscribe to this channel. We got more info on that. But I want to quote from the book now, It Takes a Village. So you see this idea that these are our children. A collective view of parenting. It takes a village. You get the name of the title of the book, a communistic, socialistic ideology. Imagine a country in which nearly all children between the ages of 3 and 5 attend preschool in sparkling classrooms with teachers recruited and trained as childcare professionals. More than 90% of French children between the ages of 3 and 5 attend free or inexpensive preschools. Even before the age of 3, many of them are in full-day programs. What age are you before the age of 3, 2, and 1? So this is a dystopian vision of society. It sounds all idealistic. Imagine the sparkling classrooms and these professionals and the end of the family unit. These are our children. We need a collective view of parenting. We've had this private idea that children belong to their families and their parents. Not, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. God's word establishes the family. So no to this, but that's the ideology coming forth, and it dates way back to the early 20th century, the progressive era, where social control was en vogue in all of the social sciences. The big talk of the town in all the universities and academia was social engineering, social control. The book Social Control by Edward Ellsworth Ross took the social sciences by storm, and in this he suggests the idea is to collect little plastic lumps of human dough from private households and shape them on the social kneading board. Again, highly creepy. This is not acceptable, but this is where we are because we want to outsource our parenting. We're too busy. We got so much going on. So hand over our children to the worldly media and the worldly schools and wash our hands of it? God forbid. Criminal in the sight of heaven that we would do such a thing. This is from Arthur Calhoun in his Social History of the American Family, also a progressive era book and publication. The child passes more and more into the custody of community experts who are qualified to perform the complexer functions of parenthood. Did you hear that? The community experts, the state, are performing the functions of parenthood. They are replacing the family, replacing parents. There are more quotes, like from the guy who wrote the definitive history of American public education, promoting this movement. His name was Elwood Cubberley, and in this book he wrote, in particular, the attitude toward control of the child is likely to change. Each year, the child is coming to belong more to the state and less to the parent. The plea in defense that the child is my child will not be accepted much longer by society.